Thank you. I don't know how I could not tell you the story. Actually, if and when, which if your beliefs are there, it really never comes up. If somebody would ever say to me, is this one of those pyramids? I just sort of, I ask them a question. I say, before I answer that question, can I ask you a question? Now, I've never, ever yet had anybody say no to that. So the question I ask them is, if when you're going through your formal educational process and your teachers would have gotten a percentage of your earnings for life, do you think the quality of your education would have been better? End of story. The beauty about this business model is it's based on helping other people succeed. How many of you would like to know the 13 key words that if you do them effectively and frequently, I promise you, no matter which company that you're working with, that you'll be very successful? Only, wait, I think I must be speaking to the wrong audience. Okay. Okay, good. I just want to make sure I'm in front of the right group. Before I do that, how many of you have heard of John Wayne? Yes. Everybody? Yes. How many of you have heard of Ron Wayne? Nobody? Whenever I speak, you have? No? Okay. Whenever I speak, I ask that same question. And so far, I have never had anybody say, yes, I know who he is. Let me tell you a little bit about Ron Wayne. He was the founder of a company with two other guys. Within a very short period of time, he didn't see the future in that company. He didn't get along with the people running the company. I'm not exactly sure why. But he decides to sell his share, 10% of earnings in that company, to the other two partners. Today he's collecting stamps in Las Vegas, which is fine. But if he would have held on to that 10% that he sold, he would be worth $35 billion today. That's right. Ron Wayne was one of the original three founders of Apple Computer. The first key word is your vision. What is your vision for success in your business? Of course, whenever I've gotten involved in any kind of business, my vision is always to be successful. But would you like to know one of my other visions that I rarely have ever shared with anybody here before? Sure. When I originally started in this profession, I saw myself being successful, no question. But I also saw myself being so successful that people would want to hear what I had to say. So early on in my career, I went to, actually was with Consumer Express. It was a company that Tom had founded. And I was the only one in the Twin Cities that was able to go down there. So when I got back and everybody wanted to know what was going on, I got up and, my upline introduced me. I got up on stage, and I was there to tell everybody of all the great things that I had just experienced. And so he handed me the mic, and within 30 seconds, my knees buckled, my eyes rolled back in my head, and I didn't know what to say. The reason it's so important, because in this business, in our profession, we all go through different things that we have to overcome. My wife told me to go to Toastmasters. For me to be able to speak in front of people, to work on the vision that I had, it was not easy before I became comfortable speaking in front of other people. Now, obviously, everybody has heard of the Beatles, right? How many of you can name the 5 original Beatles? One person? Some of you, 2 people. Some of you are thinking 5. I thought there was only 4. Most of you don't know Pete Best and Stuart Sutcliffe. You take a look at the Beatles' history, and it sort of parallels, for example, some of the things that we go through in this profession. I don't know if you know the Beatles' history, but when they started off, they were actually playing in Frankfurt, Germany, in strip bars, not necessarily the most conducive place to perfect your art. But as they consistently, perfected their art, and you take a look at their living conditions back when they started. They were living in places that I don't think anybody here today lived in the situation that they lived in. So the first key thing is, the first key word of the 13 words is, vision. The second thing is your proper actions. This business is basically about two key concepts. How do you attract the right people, and how do you empower, the people that you've attracted that are somewhere in your network to succeed? And the key that I've learned about the law of attraction, because it's something that I've always continually practiced on, is how you give to get. I'm continually trying to figure out how I can give things in a way that will attract the right people, the right situations, the right circumstances into my life. But as you're continually attracting, the one thing that you want to make sure is that you never judge people. Let me tell you about a good friend of mine who ended up playing football for the Chicago Bears. But his goal was he wanted to play football at Penn State. So this was back when Joe Paterno was the coach at Penn State. So he was calling Joe Paterno. He was writing Joe Paterno to play, to come down and visit him to see if he could get a scholarship at Penn State. Finally, Joe decides to come down and visit him. And when he met him, he basically told him two things. He said, "You're too slow and too small to ever play for Penn State." Ultimately, the following day, a guy by the name of Woody Hayes came down to see him. The only reason Woody came down to see him is he heard Joe Paterno was coming down the previous day. Woody Hayes signed him to a scholarship. He went on to play for the Chicago Bears for 8 years. But recently, as Paul Harvey talks about, for those of you who know Paul Harvey, the rest of the story, let me tell you the rest of the story. Recently, this friend of mine, Doug Plank, was inducted into the Pittsburgh Hall of Fame, the High School Hall of Fame. And after he got inducted, somebody came up to him afterwards. And he said, "I really have always wanted to meet you." And Doug sort of asked the question, "Why is that?" He said, "I heard so much about you." And he asked him to explain. He said, "Well, I worked for Joe Paterno." And Joe Paterno every year would get up in front of the class and said, he would tell your story about it's not what, how fast somebody is or how big they are. It's what's in their heart, the will to win. So, but the point is, why are we not attracting more people in our profession? And I think a lot of it is because of our beliefs. The beliefs that we all grew up with. I'm not sure if many of you came from the similar kind of parents that I came from, but how many of your parents told you not to talk to strangers when you were growing up? Almost everybody? Now I'm telling you, you can make a fortune by turning strangers into friends. So if that's the case, we've got to sit back and change our belief. The key that I've learned over the years is, and this is why these kind of events are so important, is something new comes into your life. For example, somebody you meet, an insight that you might gain so that you can make those changes. The biggest thing that we really sell, that I've learned that we sell in our profession, is why people should make certain changes and the benefits that can come from those changes. So the key to changes is something new comes into your life, a person, an idea, a perspective. But the most important part is something new comes out of you. All of a sudden, because of what new came into your life, there's a different level of results that you're accomplishing based on the something new that came into your life. So anyhow, again, why are more people, not successful? And that's one of the things that I continually ask myself. And here's what I've come up with. A lot of people, and a lot of it is about perception. And quite often when I speak around the world, I've got a PowerPoint and I've got this picture of a lady, and as people look at it, I'm sure many of you have seen this picture. It's been in Stephen Covey's book. It's been in Tony Robbins' book. That when you look at this picture, half of the people will probably see this really attractive young lady, and the other half see this older lady. How many of you have seen that picture? You know which picture I'm talking about? See, the biggest thing that we deal with in our business is the other person's perception. Their perception is their reality. So what do most people look at when we talk to them about network marketing? You know, what I've come to learn is that when most people talk or think about, or their perception is, you've got to either try to sell somebody something or get them into something. Would you agree? And again, one of the biggest things that we can do is help people change their perception. How I look at this business is we educate people. We help people make informed decisions about how they can change their life because of whatever product or service that we represent. You know, part of my background is people used to tell me I could sell ice to Eskimos. And I really probably believe I can, but I also believe most people are not, don't like selling. So how do we change people's perception that this is, what we do in this business? It's about an education. We educate people. What I've learned is people hate to buy. Hate to be sold to, but they love to buy if they understand the value. So the key is, how do we change perception to help people understand what this business is really about? And that's one of the biggest things that one of the biggest tips that I can give you. So anyhow, let me give you those 13 key words before I call it to the end. The first one is vision. The next two, which I've told you, are proper action. The next three is tell your story. We've all got stories. I could share with you the story that attracted me into this profession. It was when a little sister, and I was probably one of the most unlikely people to ever get involved in this business. A little sister from a fraternity that I had gone to about a decade before came to approach me, and she told me about a guy that was in my fraternity a few years in front of me, and he used to sell mattresses at a place called Slumberland. And he was making probably twice the amount of money in 1 month that I was making in a year. And that's what attracted me. Not because of the money, but because of the lifestyle that I could create for myself because of the money that I could earn. But, the next three words are tell your story, share the results. There's always results. I got involved in this business, whatever period of time, this is what it's meant to my lifestyle. I started using its products, this is what it's happened to me. Whatever that story is, and sell your system. The fact that we've got a system to help people get from where they are to wherever they want to be. It's not about us, it's about the other person. So it's about selling your system of how to help them succeed. And the 13th word is leverage. And I think that's one of the key things that has really made a big difference for myself, is how I'm able to leverage resources in a way that creates the kind of results that I'm looking for. For those of you that might not have ever read my book, if you're interested, I'll be happy to send you a copy of the ebook. And one of my mentors, my original mentor in the book, was Robert Butwin, and he's just rewriting his book, Your Destiny, Your Life and Your Work Become One. I'll also send you a copy of that if you just send me a simple email. And let me give you my email address. It's Butwin, my last name, Butwin@gmail.com. So anyhow, those are some of my best tips in the short period of time that I've got. And with that, I will bring back what? It's Butwin. Just remember, with Robert, you do nothing but win.